Good morning. Happy Monday. It's Susie here. So glad to have you here. So good to be here. I hope you had a great weekend. It is Monday, which means it is Monday Member Spotlight time. And this is where I get the great pleasure to introduce you to one of our amazing HerBusiness Network members. Now, just last week, if you follow this series, we opened the doors for 3 days to our network. And so we have an amazing group of brand new members that I look forward to introducing you to over the coming weeks and months as they start to show up within our community and start to get known, liked, and trusted. And we can then showcase them right here for you. Now, my guest today is on a topic that I think you're going to find really, really interesting. She's a member of the HerBusiness Network, of course, and she helps specifically service-based small businesses and small business owners connect and get more clients by growing their brand through their visual brand identity. I love the idea of this. And this is how she helps people get known, liked, and trusted with their ideal clients. Her name is Katinka. She does this through brand photography and graphic design, and I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. If you've just joined us, I'm Susie. This is Katinka. Welcome to this Monday Member Spotlight. If you've got questions or comments as we go along, we are going to be talking about Katinka's business. We're going to be talking about visual branding and your business. But to kick us off, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you do?
Right, so I'll use a connection statement because that's the HerBusiness way. So I'm Katinka Kernutt. I'm a Melbourne-based visual brand expert. I love helping small business owners connect and grow their brands in a way that their customers will love so that they gain more traction. And I do this through visual brand identity and brand photography to help create that know, like, and trust your customer needs for your business to succeed.
I love it. And wonderful connection statement. And for those watching, your connection statement is one of the things that we teach inside of the HerBusiness. It's a way to position yourself so that people immediately get what you do. They get who your ideal client is. They get what you sell. And when you have your connection statement done and done as well as Katinka has, it means that there's no confusion. You can do it very quickly. It's very portable. You can use it on interviews like this. You can use it on your website, in your emails, when you're doing a presentation. Very, very portable. But what it does is it tells us exactly what Katinka does. But I want to drill down into one particular part of your connection statement, and that is your ideal client. Tell us a little bit about who you ideally like working with and who you are best cut out to serve.
So I really love working with service-based business owners because in that space, you are your brand and your identity and your uniqueness is so important. One of the best ways, which is kind of one of the tips, but I'll say it anyway, is to show up because you are your brand. So getting brand photography and then also being unique in the way that you show up visually and being very strong in the way that you show up visually is a great way to gain that know, like, and trust and be recognized. So I also, just to throw in, I have a jewelry range that I run and people know me for this and people will actually go, oh, those earrings are cool. Oh, and then they know what my brand is. So it's about being unique and then showing that visually across everything. So.
I love that. And showing up visually, we're going to talk a little bit about our connection moves and the idea of showing up a little later. But, when someone comes to our website, they visit our social channels, they have such a short period of time with which to either know, like, and trust us or engage with us, that our visuals are so important. Now, do you hook people up? We're going to talk about your products and services later, but do you hook people up with photographers, or are you a photographer?
I'm actually a photographer myself. So I work across both the graphic design or the branding elements and the photography. And my special place is kind of where they go together to create that unique visual style across all of your brand elements, across all your touch points.
Love it.
So yeah, I do photography, hence why Melbourne is an important component of my connection statement. But obviously I can work in the branding side with anyone.
Right, great. And so our thoughts and best wishes go out to all our Melbourne members and all women in business in Victoria who are doing it a little tough right now. So I love that you do offer products and services that allow you to keep, earning an income. Tell me, what sort of problem are businesses usually having when they call on you?
So they're often redoing websites and they need to elevate their business with their photography across all their website, or they're needing to, in the photography space, they're needing to show up. And then it's in the refresh or new business space, they're looking to need a logo or brand identity. So it kind of depends. I have a couple of different business target audiences, I guess, within what I do. So either they're doing new websites and they need photography, or they are looking to refresh or start a business and align more with their visual branding and their identity branding, to maybe they've changed direction, or they DIY'd their brand in the first place, or they're a new business and they're looking to start fresh and need a strong visual brand.
I love it. And I think we can't underestimate the value of having a strong individual brand when so much of what we do is visible, our websites, our social platforms. And I know that a good photo shoot, a professionally done good photo shoot, you can get so much mileage from, and not only short-term mileage, like long-term mileage. And it just positions you. Often it can be the difference, I think, between someone choosing you and your competition, because you look that much more professional. So I know, Katinka, you've come today with some business tips for all those watching in relation to the sort of work that you do. And this is sort of the kinds of tips that you give your clients that you're going to be sharing with us here today. So take it away.
Right. So I have 3 tips. So the first one is consistency is the key to showing up and standing out online. When you're talking about your brand, the easiest way to kind of show up online is to have a consistent visual style. So choosing 2 to 3 colors, 1 to 2 fonts, and then having templates and you showing up in a consistent way across all your visuals in all your touch points online and offline. By being consistent, people recognize you, and then they will see you and they'll know you. And ultimately the goal is to be able to be recognizable without having your logo on your visuals. So people go, oh, that person I know.
That's interesting. You said a couple of things that I want to point out before we go to the next tip. 2 to 3 colors, 1 to 2 fonts. And I think that this is when you hear the mastery of what Katinka is saying, is that your brand is going to be very distinct to you. So having someone with expertise and paying for that expertise to get someone to choose the palette, like there's certain high profile people, I know their brand, like you said, they don't have to be part of it. I know that is their social post, because I know that it has that unique flavor and they're consistently using that color palette or those particular fonts or that little insignia or something. So consistency is the key to standing out online was your first tip. What else have you got?
So my next tip, and this was the #1 best thing I did for my brand, and you might sit there and say, but you're a photographer, surely you would have done this, but it's showing up with professional on-brand images that your customers connect with. So a lot of people say, I hate photos of myself. I don't want to show up. My brand is not me. But if you're a service-based business, your brand is you, and your customer wants to see you. And so within that tip, your customer doesn't see your flaws. They actually see you as the person you are, and they want to see you that way. So one thing photographers often say is we see a mirror of ourselves. We look odd to ourselves because we're used to looking at a reflection. Your customer is used to seeing your pictures, and they're used to seeing you, and they don't look at you and say your nose is too big or whatever. They don't see that. They just see you, and they want to see you because people buy from people. So start showing up.
I love that. And so if you are a service-based business, and that is sort of a lot of our community, it's a lot of women business owners, then you are your brand. Whether you like it or not, whether you think of yourself as a brand or not, people, as Katinka said, buy from people. And so you want to be seen and you want to be heard and you want to show up for your clients. And so I know for me, Katinka, for the longest time, and I've been doing this for 20 plus years, I was not on my website. All the guest speakers we have, our member photos, different course presenters, different world-class speakers, they were all on our website. But I was sort of hidden somewhere in the about section. And it was a very deliberate but scary kind of move to become the face of the business, because I knew that if I did that, if I was willing to take that leap, then the connections would be much deeper, because people, like you said, buy from people. All right. I know you've got one more awesome tip. What have you got?
Color is your friend, which might be a little bit similar to tip one, but it's an important one. So my number one kind of way to create consistency is to be really consistent with your color. So if you think about big brands, like people automatically know what Coca-Cola's colors are. They know the colors of Facebook. They know the colors of even smaller brands, like they'll know HerBusiness colors. And so by being consistent with your colors and showing up across your visuals and your photography and also your brand identity in the same color palette, and also what you wear. So don't wear from head to toe the same color, but little flashes. So one of my colors is in these earrings, which is why these are one of my favorite pairs of earrings I wear. Flashes of color, and having flashes of color behind you in videos, like it's just a really easy way of creating that consistency across all of your touch points.
Got it. Love it. And I definitely think we could be more consistent with our colours. In fact, we are really looking at our colours. But again, you know, I know the virgin red, right? I know the Facebook blue, like you said, and even smaller brands. You know, my friend Jennifer Allwood, who teaches creatives how to do social media, I know she's got a pink and blue, right? Because she's just consistent with that and gives her a very strong identity. Now, we want to hear about your products and services, but before we do that, how long have you been a member of the HerBusiness Network?
Nearly a year, I think, Suze. Like it's been, I joined at the end of last year, whenever that intake was. Was that like October?
It was probably around October. Yeah,
and
great.
It's nearly October. How did that happen?
I know. Don't even go there. It's September next week. It's like, what happened to my year? Now, tell us, how has being part of this community, like you had lots of lockdowns, but you've stayed very connected to your community. So how has being part of our community supported you in this last year?
So I really love the community, actually, and it's a pity I haven't been as active as I maybe want to be. But I love my goals group, because every 2 weeks we turn up and we have discussions. When everyone was in lockdown, we were just talking about lockdown basically, but it was kind of what I needed to keep going. It's hard now because I'm the only one who's in lockdown and everyone else is free. But it's great chatting with other business owners, getting their ideas, and just feeling like you're not alone, I guess, because you're all talking about the same things. We're all on JobKeeper, or we're not, or we're all looking at, you know, trying to get our websites working, or we're not, whatever's kind of topical. And they all have experiences and skills that I don't have, and they're good at pushing you as well. And then also just from the community itself. So like even just this week, I put a post in the community asking to see if there were business owners who wanted to share their skills. And I got about 10 people who were like, yeah, I'd love to chat and see how we can, you know, connect. So people are really keen to connect and help others, which is really great about the network, and I love that.
Yes, I love seeing the collaborations too. I love seeing, you know, you mentioned show up and speak up there, two of our connection moves, and lift up is the other one, which you've just kind of demonstrated, which is women supporting each other, women willing to collaborate, because there's more than enough business for everyone in the network, even if you're a copywriter and the other person's a copywriter, even if you are a, you know, visual brand specialist and someone else is, there's enough people out there. And the more that we can collaborate and work together over thinking that we need to compete, the more all our businesses are going to grow. And I love that you're getting the support from your goals group. And for those who are not familiar with what that is, they are the HerBusiness peer-to-peer accountability groups that are included in your membership when you join the HerBusiness Network. Now, tell us a little bit about how people can work with you. Tell us a little bit about your key products or services.
Okay, cool. So I have kind of two products which then can be put together. So the photography side and then the visual identity side. I do a social media template pack, which is quite a good starting space where we come up with a consistent visual style across what you're posting. It also helps you take less time in that space because you kind of know what you're posting and you can just change your templates. And then I can also talk about people, helping them make sure if they've got a logo but they don't have a brand guide, so making sure they know what their fonts and colours are. And then we can extend it into either brand refreshes or new brands, depending on where you sit. So if you're a new business, obviously you're a new brand, but if you have a logo that you've DIY'd or maybe it's not quite right for you, we can kind of refresh it and create some visual assets that go with it, without having to kind of start again. The only reason you have to start again is if you've like changed your name and changed everything about it, then you're really just back to being a new, you know, a rebrand or a new brand. And then I do the graphic design component, so I can do service page PDFs, or like service PDFs, so that you can send your services out to your customers, or lead magnets and all that kind of stuff as well. So there is that element. And then on the other side, the photography, I do a lot of personal brand photography, so it's mainly people-based. It's all about creating a library for you, so for you and your team, of you, but also you doing your thing. And also I can go into kind of more abstracty shots, like, you know, computers or hands or all that kind of stuff. So you have kind of not just your face 50 times. We have you, but it's, you know, with your stuff and your colours and your, you know, it's not your face everywhere. So there's a few there, and then together is kind of where you get the real power, if you get the photography and the branding refreshes, because then you start having that really strong elevated brand that will just start doing amazing.
And imagine the time it saves, right? When you've got a library of photos that you've already pre-considered, oh, these are going to be my Instagram shots for the next 3 months or whatever. Yep. And so you don't have to keep going, oh, I like that. Oh, I need to filter that out. Oh, no, I didn't like that. And you can just hand it off to your team and get it done. So very effective. You did mention lead magnets, and I know that you are working on a couple. And so if you're watching and you want to get a hold of these lead magnets, I'm going to put a slightly different URL here. And if you're watching later, you will see this URL also surrounding this post, wherever this post is. And so tell us on the couple of lead magnets that you're working on that our women business owners are going to love.
Okay, so I've got 2 that I'm working on. Don't know why I always do that to myself. Anyway, I've got
I do one. I mean, you could do 2.
There is a reason. I ran a visual brand challenge, so I kind of got my lead magnets out of running that. So one of them is all around how to make sure you get the most out of your personal brand photo shoot or your branding photo shoot. So it's basically a checklist of what you need to look for doing, like what kind of images you need, and then what you need on the day. And the other one is more around your brand identity. So looking at how to create the things you need for brand identity and putting it together, and looking at the kind of templates you can use. That one is still a bit more of a work in progress than the other one, but it's on my list to kind of finish in the next week. So
right. So this address here that you're seeing here on the screen, this is, you sign up to Katinka's VIP list. And when you're on the VIP list, as soon as those lead mags are available, she will send those to you. And I'm sure you send lots of other wonderful resources and news and things. Thank you so much for being my guest here today. What would you like to leave us with?
No problem. I absolutely love this. It's maybe slightly out of my comfort zone, but it's a good thing for me to do. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. And please go ahead and visit Katinka's website if you are ready to build your personal brand in a way that looks professional, both on the photography side, but also on the branding elements that you might use on your website or in your emails, etc. Katinka, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
So there's Katinka, one of our awesome members. She gave us some really good tips today. Consistency is the key to standing out online. When you run a service business, you are the brand. So you want to make sure that you're putting your very best foot forward every single time, whether it's an email, whether it's on your social post, whether it's on your website, whether it's a proposal you're putting towards a potential client, and that color is your friend. And you want to know what those colors are for you. And I think that when you can get that down, when you have a color palette that's congruent with who you are, when you have those couple of font choices, firstly, it makes your life easier, but it also means that whether you're outsourcing on Fiverr or to a virtual assistant or to anyone else, then they have some really good guidelines. So you're going to get some consistent results. The other things that I wanted to point out, we talked about show up, speak up, and lift up. Now, these are 3 of what we call our connection moves inside of the HerBusiness network. And when you join the network, these are 3 areas of training that we do. But I want to give you a little takeaway here if you're watching. So showing up is about showing up for your clients, for your prospects, for your team members. And it's about actually putting yourself into your business, being part of your business, being part of your own brand. So that means really injecting yourself and not trying to connect at arm's length. Inside of our network, what showing up looks like is becoming known, liked, and trusted by putting your member profile up, in putting yourself forward to be on one of these interviews, in using our free advertising opportunities every week, in popping something in the newsletter, in adding your photo, your professional photo, to your directory profile. It's showing up to our monthly networking events and our end of month roundups. It's showing up and saying, hey, I can help you. Speaking up is about asking questions inside of our Facebook group, just like Katinka just did, and she's having 10 women respond to collaborate with her. That's speaking up. Speaking up is also knowing when to ask for the sale or the referral, or speaking up and say, I'm really stuck here. Can I get a hot seat because I don't know how to do this? That's speaking up. And that can be one of the toughest things. But when you speak up, it gives others permission to speak up. And when you speak up, you start to get what you want in your life. And lift up is our third move. And that is about lifting up each other. That's about celebrating other people's wins. It's about celebrating your own wins. It's about noticing when someone has made progress. And we love to lift each other up. Our collaborations, they're all part of lifting up. So I'm a big fan of our members, as you can probably hear, and I'm a big fan of those 3 connection moves, because whether you're a member of the network yet or not, they're 3 things that you can start to do in your own life. Now, who you surround yourself obviously has a huge impact on your business. And so you heard Katinka talk about her goals group, her peer-to-peer accountability group. And ever since I started my business, I have always had either a mastermind or peer accountability group or mentors or someone around me. And it was the moment that I stopped trying to do everything on my own in my business that my business really started to change. The first 2 years, I thought I could do it all on my own, but I did as much as I could on my own, and I just wasn't seeing the growth and the results that I wanted. That's when I started to tap into mentors and strategic alliances and to connect myself with people who are still friends and colleagues, and means that anytime if I need a guest speaker or I need to be the guest speaker, or if I need advice or I need to know which marketing tool or something went really wrong in a marketing campaign and I need someone to break it down for me and tell me what happened, I have a network of people that I can do that with. It also means I have a network of people when I have something to celebrate, people that I can reach out to who have got my back. And I also have people around me who ask more of me than I do. So not only do they celebrate me, but they also don't let me get off the hook when I've said I want to do something. So I encourage you to find your tribe. If you feel like we might be your tribe, then I want to encourage you to the doors are closed to the network, but if you'd like to be notified the next time we open, just head on over to herbusinessnetwork.com and let us know. Now we do have, now Sarah's saying, thank you, Katinka, great tips. We totally agree. And Sharon says, thank you, Katinka and Susie. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next Monday with another member spotlight. In the meantime, please go ahead and check out Katinka's website. Definitely sign up to that VIP list because those lead magnets, they sound awesome. Thank you so much. Bye for now. Have a great week.